We're now going to go through the most common placement flags on Podscribe and how they are detected. Placement flags all are detected using error checks, which are publicly available. So they rely on the ad being baked in rather than dynamically inserted for their accuracy. The first one that we're going to look at is the missing flag. We detect it by having a date range for a campaign. Let me change this actually. We detect it by looking at a podcast within a particular date range and looking for an ad within the episodes published between the dates of the date range. If we find that there is no ad for the advertiser, then that's a sign to us that the flag is missing because it cannot be found in the error checks, in the transcripts. That being said, sometimes what happens is that the name of the advertiser is just different from the name of the advertiser in the transcripts. So the advertiser name might just be Nike in the campaign, but in the air check or in the transcript, the advertiser name is Nike Just Do It. So what needs to happen is either yourself, if you are a client of Podscribe, or one of our team members will go into the transcript. They will find that ad for Nike Just Do It. They will change the name of the advertiser from Nike Just Do It to Nike. And then the ad should pop up in the By Campaign tab under that campaign. That's one thing they can do to solve that problem. Another would be to create an alias of Nike on Nike's show page or advertiser page, where now what happens is if ever our system detects another ad for Nike Just Do It, it'll automatically assume that that is another name for Nike. And then we have the campaign being created and detected and detecting the air check properly. So that is the missing ad. The reason this cannot be done for DAI campaigns or run of network campaigns is, again, we don't know if we're not able to always get a download of an episode that has the ad inserted into it. So it's not as reliable as baked in ads. The reason I want to show you how we calculate these flags and detect these flags and what their limitations are is so that you use Podscribe more effectively and have a better understanding of how things are used. And then when you're looking at the flags yourself, you understand what their limitations are and where things can be improved. The next is wrong position. Here, wrong position. This one is pretty simple. If your campaign is supposed to be a pre-roll, then you will type that in while creating your campaign on the dashboard. Then what happens is our system transcribes all of the episodes as usual. It finds an ad and it'll look at the length of the ad and it'll see where the ad shows up. And if it shows up in the pre-roll near the beginning of the episode, then that's good because that's what a pre-roll is. It's supposed to show up at the beginning. But if it finds that the ad shows up as a post-roll or as a mid-roll in that transcript, then that's bad because it's a sign that it wasn't inserted into the location of the episode that it was meant to be inserted into. When this happens, we let the person know by raising the wrong position flag. The ad was expected to be in the pre-roll, but it was found in the mid-roll or the post-roll or something else. The ad was expected to be found in the post-roll, but it was found in the pre-roll or the mid-roll. This is the flag that we raise and how we detect it. One thing I noticed happen with a client recently was that a flag was detected, a wrong position flag was detected for a dynamically inserted campaign. And this is because if we manage to get a download of a episode that did have the ad dynamically inserted into it, we will make that show up on the dashboard. But the way that the air checks are assigned to individual campaigns is somewhat arbitrary. It doesn't always look for the right campaign, so you may have to go in and change that yourself. But it's much more reliable. The flags are much more reliable if you're looking at baked-in campaigns than you are for DAI campaigns. So if you find that you have one DAI campaign that is a pre-roll and another DAI campaign that is a mid-roll, but they both say wrong position, it's just that the pre-roll ad was matched to the mid-roll campaign and the mid-roll ad was attached to the pre-roll campaign. You just need to go into those campaigns and reassign the air check to unmatch it from that campaign, and it'll be rematched to the correct campaign later on by our system. So that is the wrong position flag. Another one is the bad promo flag. Bad promo. How do we detect this? Well, you could use Nike 2024 as the name of your, oh no, it's 2025. Imagine the promo code that Nike wants to use for this campaign is Nike 2025. What would happen is Joe Rogan or the podcaster would say, use code Nike 2025 when you are purchasing to get 25% off your order. That is something that can happen. So how do we detect whether that has been read correctly or not? Well, we go, once again, the system finds all of the ads in episodes published between 5.1 and 5.7. It finds one episode that has the ad, and then it sees that there's an ad for Nike in it. Let's see, blue. And then it pulls that out, and it looks at the text of the ad itself. It'll write down, and this is something that you can change yourself on Podscript if you go to any episode page. It'll write down the name of the advertiser, and then also the promo or vanity URL used, if any. So if we detect the ad as saying Nike 2024, maybe Joe Rogan read that incorrectly, our system will then take that and compare that with the promo code used in the campaign. And if it notices that there's a difference between the two, it'll mark that as bad promo. That's how that is used. Whoops. Okay, so that's bad promo. The next flag that we're going to look at is the short flag, and it is quite similar to the bad promo flag. You're starting to see the pattern, I hope, where all we're doing is we're looking at the transcript and getting data that is publicly available from the transcript. So let's say when you're creating a campaign, you write down that you expect the ad to be 60 seconds long. What our system will do is, once again, transcribe all those episodes, look for the ads in all of them. It'll find an ad. Let's see. If it were to find that ad was, not if it were, the system will count how many seconds an ad takes up. And if it says 45 seconds or 43 seconds, if it discovers that it's that long, it'll compare that number with the number that you expect to see from your end. And if there's a difference where the length of the ad is shorter than the length of the ad typed into the campaign, then that means that there's a short flag that is raised. Now, a lot of publishers kind of find this annoying because sometimes they go out of their way, along with their podcasters, to make other ads longer. So they might be 15 seconds short here, but in another ad from another week, they were 20 seconds long. So this is something that buyers need to take into account when they go to the publisher and ask them for a make good. Maybe it's not the case that you've been ripped off, but rather, just things, there's a bit taken away from here, there's a bit more given there. You have to keep that in your mind when you were looking at things. So that's the short position. Let's see. The late insert position is one that I think I will go through as well. This just means that, you've created your campaign. The ad was supposed to run on 5/4. Let's do Joe Rogan again with his episode with Pope Leo the 14th. What'll happen is we'll download one version on 5/4, another on 5/4, third on 5/5, and then a couple more on some future dates. Like this. Late insert is a flag that we pop up when we notice that the 5/4 ad, the 5/4 download of that episode does not have the ad, but future episodes do. That just means that the ad has been inserted later than expected. It might be an issue, it might not. If it is an issue, then this allows you to bring this up with the publisher. Okay, so that's late insert. And then another one that is kind of related is ad removed. So let's say instead of the ad being added late, it was in the 5/4 episode, the 5/5, 5/6, but for some reason on 5/7 and 8 it was removed. This is an ad that is raised for baked in buys where the ad was removed with before 30 days had passed, because usually ads run for 30 days when they are inserted dynamically. So that's kind of the trend that has been copied for baked in buys too. We detect this by downloading the same episode multiple times, and if you are not expecting the ad to be removed, then this is a sign that you can go back to the publisher and reach out to them and say, hey, something's going on because we don't see the ad in this new in the latest downloads of that episode. What's going on? So super helpful to know that the ad has been removed, and those are just some of the flags that we can detect as a result of us downloading multiple episodes and transcribing them and downloading the same episode multiple times to look at their progression through time.